Okay. 623. It's you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the only one. That was my phone number because I called in my phone. I'm not using my computer audio.
Got it. Got it. Oh dear. You know if Matt's going to be here today?
No, he's not. He's I think he's in Denver with the flu, trying to coach a team with the flu.
Ah.
Poor guy. That's got to be miserable.
Oh, well, I do see we've got Sarah on the call today. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
How are you today?
Excellent. It's my birthday.
Yay!
So not shy about touting.
That's good. It's your special day. Happy birthday.
It's a special day. Thank you.
Yay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Fun. It makes the day a little easier and fun and more fun, and also it's a Friday, so that's even better.
Yes.
Yep.
Double score. Double score.
I can go buy my own donuts and share them.
Tiffany, do we want to work off your screen or off mine? I'm open to anything.
Well, we can work off mine, but if it's just Sarah, we may just want to catch up on how she's doing and with her progress, and then see kind of how she wants to use the time on the call. On previous calls, when we've had one or two participants, we ask them, did they want to go through did you want to go through a practice test, or you want to just kind of talk through your progress or any issues you're having? So,
well, if it's just me, then I will tell you that I took the exam yesterday, the day before.
Oh, wow.
Wednesday.
Good for you.
Oh, wow.
What'd you think?
And I did not. That's how I felt.
I cannot see your facial expression that goes with that.
Mm-hmm. It was a good one. It was a good one. I did not feel particularly confident, and I think so I'll say that, like, I took the 3.1 practice exam when I was starting to study, and then I took it again maybe a week or two ago, and was feeling pretty confident. I think I got like an 88 on it, and I was like, oh, this is great, I'm doing great. And then I had a CPSM session and was like, nope, I'm not there yet. And so I went into full cram mode again. And I think the very first question on the exam, I didn't know what it was in reference to. So I think that was, unfortunately,
it might have
got my feathers
ruffled or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I don't know what this is. There were definitely things that I could go through and was like, okay, yeah, that's, pretty comfortable with. And then there were ones where I didn't even know what it was referring to. Like the word wasn't even something I remember from the reading. And then in some cases, it was more just like I just spending a lot of time trying to figure out what I thought the most appropriate answer was, because they all seemed right. I thought one of the things that I found the most confusing on the exam was the terminology seemed to have changed from the books onto the exam. So suddenly the words prospect and customer were used all the time, and I didn't feel like those were the terminology from the books, at least. So that kind of threw me off.
Okay.
So on the test, was prospect and customer a lot?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Versus the book.
Versus client.
I was going to say client. Yeah, client.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but there was definitely things that I just didn't know, and I thought I was pretty well prepared.
Right. I had one of the gentlemen from one of our previous R2Cs. He took it and had a question on marketing information systems, which we take to mean, I guess, the CRM. He said he saw that, he hadn't seen that, because the book refers to it as CRM a lot.
Yep, I agree with that. Their CRM is covered in almost every single domain, and in some places they're called, sometimes it's CRM, sometimes it's lead, well, like account tracking system, and CRM isn't even mentioned in that. And then there's MIS, and then there's decision support systems, and I think there were a lot of questions on the exam about CRM. So I think from a studying perspective,
Really?
it was confusing because the domains cover them. And
Yeah.
you'd think almost like because the domains cover them so frequently that you'd be like a pro by the time you got to number 6. But I think the
Right.
terminology switches, and I think the focus of them switches, and some of them, like the glossary terms, are very much like, this is about reporting, and then you'd read it and it's like really not. Like an MIS system
Yep.
isn't just about reporting, but that's the definition in the back of the book. So CRM is definitely something I noted as when I was following up with some of my team members that came up quite a bit, and it was,
Yeah.
I found it
Interesting.
challenging.
I would not guess it would be so pervasive across all the domains. I always think that is more like for 3 and maybe 6, but I'm a non-practitioner talking here, so.
Yeah, I think it's in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. I think it's just not in promotions.
6 comes at it from the management standpoint, if we,
Yeah.
obviously.
And the research planning part talks a lot about the others, like the marketing information systems and decision support systems. And I think I don't have anything to equate, like I wasn't sure how to equate that in my own firm. I'm like, well, that's not the CRM system we have. Is that our knowledge management? Like our database
Right.
of projects, which is different in our firm. So I'm like trying to kind of sort out what all those terms equate.
Right.
I think was confusing. And I told my team again too, I'm like, you have to most best first. Like that was, I wish I had spent more time like making flashcards just on those anytime it said most or best or first in the reading material.
Right. I think it's really important for you to know in, staging the question, what phase in the process you're in, because it kind of frames the question, frames the answer. Kevin, if you'll go to slide number, hold on. Slide number 10, question number 4, which is following is a critical first step.
Can you guys see my screen?
I can.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah.
There it is. There, I expanded.
Just because you mentioned this is one of the ones I wanted to talk about today, whether we did the practice test or not, but most, best, or because it is the most right answer, because there's usually two correct answers, and this isn't a most best question, but it reminds me that if you look at it does have first in it.
Yep.
Hey, okay. What's the first step?
Yep.
Yeah, planning. So Sarah, when you figure out what's the first step, but what, that 5-step process we talked about.
Mm-hmm. Our risky pirates.
Yes, ma'am. So we're in the planning phase, right? Here, risky pirates. So we're in the planning phase. So you already know that. So if there's anything in here that would be a part of the research phase or the implementation phase, no, those answers are out.
Yeah.
And so first isn't really the key thing here to me. I think it's, what is the basis of your communication planning? And you throw out the analysis at the top, because that's all about SWOT analysis and forecasting. All that goes in research, So you throw out A and B immediately.
I definitely was throwing out B and C looking at this, because I was like, oh, that's implementing it. But I have to say I would have picked A, because I would have gone with like, the first step is always an audit. But you're right. Like, it's not the first step total.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're past the analysis phase. You're in the planning phase. So you've already had your analysis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you going to select the delivery mechanism for how you communicate, or are you going to work on developing the clear message first? Which one of those would come first, C or D?
D.
Yep. And that's the answer.
Bingo.
And also the other hint is anytime you're talking about communications, you want to have clear, concise, current, cared about, all the 5 C's. So that was kind of another hint to the question, but you have to be able to take out A and B first to get to that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well done.
I was going to say that, did you have anything on like entering, like auditing a market or selecting a target market or a market analysis?
Yep.
Yeah. No, but you don't remember anything that stuck out?
There was something about like market segmentation analysis, and I didn't know what that was.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think,
Go ahead.
And then there was another question. I think it said something like, "What is the most important? What was it? The most important like part of that a strategic plan should be?" And
most important.
I think
most important.
Yep, most important. And the choices were feasible, measurable, and I can't remember the other one. And it was like, what are they talking about? It should be all of those things.
I'm curious, how was the question phrased again? One more time. I'm sorry.
I think it was, what's the most important part of a strategic plan, or what should a strategic plan always be, or something like that.
Feasible.
So I would go back to, right, so you're probably set all of them because it's SMART goals, right? Specific,
yes.
Measurable, right? Because it's a plan. But I would say, even if it's specific, even if it's measurable, the attainable and realistic, so is it feasible, would probably be the answer, because if it's pie in the sky, it doesn't matter how good your plan is or how well you can measure it, you're going to, you know what I mean? It's not going to work. But I don't know, that's what that sounds like to me, but
yeah.
One of the test takers that recently took it also said that in the event of he told me that one of the questions was something about in the event of a catastrophe.
Yes, that was another one.
Okay, that, how should you deal with the media?
Yep.
Like ignore them. Don't comment on anything until you know all the information, or get direction from management or something like that. And then something about being truthful or transparent.
Yep.
Was one of the answers. This is all after the fact, and he can't obviously remember. This is just going from memory and the flavor of what the questions was about, just like you're doing. And I said,
exactly.
well, yeah, but it helps you to talk through it, because we're not trying to tell each other the answers. We're trying to understand what the question is so that we learn the material. And, I took we had a PR class, a PR little kind of boot camp here last year at SMPS Atlanta. And they said, obviously be truthful and be transparent. And just remember that just because you're truthful or transparent doesn't mean you're giving out all of the information. So if a tragedy really occurred, you can be truthful about, this is a tragedy and we're trying to get to the bottom of it, and safety is always our utmost concern, and we're going to do everything we can to find out what happened here and make it right. And you're being truthful and honest, but you're not giving them every detail because you don't have it yet, or it may not be ready to share,
Yep. I think I got that one wrong then.
Well, I was going to say, I may be wrong. I mean, I don't know.
I think that yeah, I think it was like, are we giving out too much information? And I think I said something like, you should make I think I said you should make you should get out in front of it and make a statement, which is different than you should be transparent. And then the other one was, you shouldn't say anything at all until last. And the other one was, have your like executive partner refer everything to your executive partner. So I was like, no,
Right.
not that one. We don't necessarily want him or her.
Well, you don't want him or her in front of them if they're not with the skills, but also it makes it, if you don't comment, it makes it look like you're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your answer may be correct. I just
no.
I don't know what all the possibles are, so I'm
Yeah.
just trying to talk through what he told me.
Yep. They referred to it as crisis management, and I tried to go look in the back of the book. I was like, where do they talk about crisis management in here? And it wasn't in the index, at least of promotions, which is where I thought it might be.
Right.
So I don't. Yeah.
I saw. What did I see? I read, because even after he told me that question, I looked in the book a little bit about PR and stuff, and I didn't see anything specific where they tell you what to do in light of a sort of catastrophe or negative, news press. I didn't see anything about that. So,
yeah.
What else? I'll tell you this. After I took it, I didn't know whether I passed or failed or not. Like, I felt good about some questions, and then some questions I knew about wrong, and then there were others where I'm like, who knows if I got it or not.
Right.
So your guess is as good as anybody else's.
Yeah, we'll just see. My coworker in Los Angeles took the test. He wasn't part of the immersion class, but he took the test, I want to say a month ago, and he said he missed it by 1 point. I know.
Well,
awful.
Yeah.
Has anyone else in our specific immersion class taken it yet? Do you know?
I'm sorry to say I don't know. I'm looking at the names right now. I got my list here. I haven't seen any of these names come up yet, but I can double check.
I mean, it's kind of early in the process because I had started studying before the immersion class, so I was nervous if I was waiting too long that I was going to lose all the reading I had done. So I kind of moved, I think, earlier than the 90-day plan.
Right.
Because my 90 days.
I haven't gotten any emails where somebody said I've passed it or failed it or anything like that. So usually we get communications on both sides of it. It'll be like John from a couple immersion classes ago. He's like, I failed it. What does this mean? And he's, or somebody's like, I passed. Yay. I just wanted to tell you. And so usually we'll hear, we haven't heard anything yet, but, who knows? Maybe you'll be the first to take it, the first to pass.
Maybe.
Yeah. But no matter the outcome, don't give up, because if you have to take it again, then so be it. It's really
that's why I called into this. I was like, well, let's just.
I'm glad you did, because actually we've never had somebody who called right after they'd taken it. Maybe one person, but they didn't share a whole lot, because it's hard to remember.
Yes.
Yes. The time and all that. It's a lot of questions, and you're overwhelmed, and that's how I really think that's helpful, and it's helpful for me as an instructor because I haven't taken the test since 2011 or something. So,
right.
And I'm trying to teach. I know what the material is, but I don't really know how the test is anymore,
Yep.
We're not trying to teach specifically to the test, but it helps us to know the, kind of flavor for it so we can help everybody along.
Yeah. I'd say I was talking to the guy that runs the Seattle CPSM study group right after the test. I talked to him yesterday. And I guess my suggestion because he was like, well, how can I teach the class better? How can we, facilitate these study groups? And what we'd been doing is basically these like Jeopardy questions, which there's a Jeopardy board. You're basically just simulating the, test questions. But I said don't, which is great.
Yeah, that was usually our office hours number 3. is what we've done that once. But keep going, keep going.
Yeah, so I was going to say, like, don't, like, if you could go back and eliminate all the questions that were literally just definitions, get rid of those, because people should be studying those anyways. Like, I'd rather spend our time doing all of these kind of like first step, most, best, like asking those questions.
Reply now.
Yep.
Yeah, because I was like, because, you know, you'd get up there and be like, what's the definition of, you know, current ratios? And then it'd be like 4 choices, and then we would discuss like what was the answer. But like, I'm like, skip all that. we already don't know all that.
Right. You're right. Yeah, they leave it in there because they feel like it's a way to get you to know it, even though that is never going to be on the test directly like that, but they want you to know it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know it, but I thought, well, if I'm going to be in this kind of like the point is to discuss amongst ourselves why we're choosing the best answer. The definition is not forget the definition once, like let people do that on their own.
There's no conversation about that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can show you in the book what page it was on and explain what, you know, net multiplier means, but.
Right. How did you feel about those financial net multipliers?
So net multiplier was on the exam. There was one that was just literally a direct definition. It's the ratio of blank to blank. And but then there was another question, and I have to say I didn't know the answer to it, even though I knew the definition of it. It was something like, how would you increase or why would you increase your ratio, your net multiplier ratio, or something like that, or why would you, or how would you? And it was things like, I'd look at my utilization rate, I'd look at profitability, I can't remember, but because I didn't know the answer.
Right.
It was something like that.
Right.
And I think my brain couldn't like wrap around, like I was like, okay, well, if this is the ratio, and I know what an average ratio would be, and I was like, well, if we increase this, what does it change? And you know, I probably spent a lot of time thinking about that, but I didn't know the answer.
Right.
So that was kind of like, I told my team to, it's like, obviously memorize all those definitions. I didn't have to like do any math to figure it out, but understanding like what was it actually measuring, and how would you change what it measured? How would you affect what it measured? Because I was like, I know it measures efficiency, but then I was like, but I don't know how to apply that, you know?
Right.
At the bottom dollar, I think came from page 71 in domain 6. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
What you just said kind of fits right in.
Yeah, it's like I memorized it, but when it came to solving a life problem with it, I didn't know what to do.
Domain 6, I'm on page 71, net multiplier. Markendium, sorry, obviously.
So what does it say? I mean, other than the definition.
I'll just read chapter 2. Clearly, a higher multiplier will lead to higher profits. Typical strategies to improve the net multiplier are to perform projects in your core expertise for a fixed fee, provide adequate employee software training, and control unpaid scope creep.
Scope creep. That was it. That was the answer.
Yeah. Calculate the net multiplier as follows. And anyway, it's net revenue over total direct labor equals net multiplier. That's the actual formula.
So I'd written down on my notes profitability, but then I didn't.
You probably pulled that out there somewhere. I'm guessing.
Yep, that's it. It was scope creep.
Scope creep.
Old scope creep. I actually got it right, I think. I mean, that's what I picked, unless I went back. I was so nervous about going back and changing answers because I thought there's some value in my first gut response. So.
Yep.
Over the years, that's a question many candidates have asked me. They say, Kevin, is it better to go with your first instinct or to go back and I'm like, I can't answer that. There's no first instincts versus second guessing yourself. There is no formula for that. There is no advice on that. It's
I think
no statistic.
Eliminate the most Incorrect answers. I mean, I always give that advice, and everyone gives that advice. But yeah, just narrow it down to it's like Tiffany said. There's usually two answers, and the ones that they're usually pretty close. They're not trying to trick anybody. They're trying to challenge you. They're trying to make sure you understand what it is you're actually reading. And that I know you've heard this all, so
Yeah.
no, but okay.
And there were other questions about. There were at least 2 questions about backlog.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yep. And
Is that backlog? Main 6 maybe? No.
yeah,
Yeah.
backlog. It's probably in the management section.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Actually, it's all over the main 6. Like 9, 16.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
what else? There soft costs came up, and I didn't know what that was.
Oh boy.
Budget planning. And I'm only remembering what I didn't know or what I flagged. So there was
Yeah, of course.
other stuff that I was like, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, if you've never heard of it, we either didn't cover it or you're asleep while we were or whatever. So
remember how sick I was? I was so sick during the immersion.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope I didn't contaminate anybody with my illness, but
Not that I can remember.
okay, good.
It didn't contaminate me. I've got a 5-year-old, and he brings home everything under the sun, so I wouldn't know
totally.
if it was for anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything? I mean, I'm going to take this. It's that you've given me, and also kind of maybe gear a little more content around, net multiplier, backlog, for our next talk,
Okay.
our next program. But if you didn't pass for some reason, don't give up, and then we can always review again some of these crazy ones and talk through and do some more practice tests.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm enjoying my little break, but I still will call into anything until I hear a yes or a no.
And then when you're passed, we'll never see you again. See?
Yeah, I'll be like, see you, dudes.
Yeah, I do. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. But I appreciate feedback.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it like as fresh as possible in my brain too, because I'm like, okay, if I go back and study, I gotta know what.
Yeah. Write those things down. Make sure you have them written down so you can look at them again.
Yeah.
If necessary.
Exactly.
Dig in. Well, good.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you did. Good for you.
Thanks for calling in, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks I get to have a one-on-one. How lucky me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fun. Okay, cool. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Is there anything else you need from us?
Nope, and I will definitely let you know thumbs up, thumbs down when I find out.
All right. Don't be, it could go either way, and it's no big deal.
Yeah, and I'm happy to share anything with the larger group too, if that's useful.
That might be great for the next office call. We'll see how that shakes out.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.